As you will have seen, that is a fly. Excuse you, sir. Rude. But Monday, I said Monday really weird. Hello, 'tis me. I don't know why I said it that way. Hello. I should sit down before I say hello. That would be smart. Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey and we're about to get very, very nerdy with week 3 of the Whateverathon. So it is Sunday night. I just ended the last vlog, but as usual, I probably won't have time to start next week's vlog or this week's vlog tomorrow morning. So we're going to start here to tell you a little bit about what I am planning. As you would have seen, I'm bringing these two big chunky books into this week. We have The Evil Queen by Gino, which stood in for the prompt of something that I am forgetting. This was for the prompt of a book that you've hauled in last year. I picked this up last month in my Bookish Come Online Book Shopping With Me video. I am very close to the end. Here we are. I'm on page 463, so about just a handful of pages, a handful of chapters left. So this will be the first thing I finish. I will definitely finish this tomorrow morning, so I'll probably come to you tomorrow with some more updates on how this goes, but like, I do not have that much in it, and I'm so like, I need to know. I'm loving it so far. I expect a 4.5 or a 5-star read, honestly. So this would be first thing to finish. And then we also have War, which right now, as of recording it, I'm about 450 pages, which is somewhere in chapter 47. So about here, a little over halfway. I will pick this one up next. I don't have that much to go, so I expect this one will be finished in the next couple of days or so. So these are the two that I have started and coming into this week. This is for a 5-star prediction. Forgot to mention that. But some other plans that I would just like to pick up also this week is I'd like to pick up Malice by Heather Walter, but I'm wondering if I should put a few books between The Evil Queen and this one, just because they're both kind of like retellings of evil kind of characters in Disney. Maybe not just Disney, but like fairy tales. But I'm very, very interested in this one. So I want to pick this one up this week sometime. I'm not sure when. I do have the audiobook of this. I was able to find one on Audible. So I will have the audiobook of this, and it looks very large, but it's also like a very large font. But I've heard great things about it. So I'm very interested. So I would love to pick that one up this week. I also would like to pick up Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This was a book that my husband gave to me for Christmas, and it's a adult romance, but it's set kind of around football and like the girlfriends and wives of football players, and it follows our main character who has been in, I think it's like a 10-year relationship. Yeah, a 10-year relationship with this NFL star who was cheating on her, and so she kind of like swears off NFL players and then falls for like a quarterback. So it seems like it's very Mean Girl-esque because it seems to focus on like the wives not really liking that she is part of them, I guess. I don't know, but like this I expect will be the first, because I also have an audiobook from my library, will be the first book that I pick up after I've finished these two. So would also like to get to that one. I didn't tell you what these were for. Malice was for an author's debut, and then Intercepted was for a book with POC rep in it. And then I also love to pick up a manga this weekend because I've got 3 on this list, and one of them I can't read until I finish another book, which I don't know when I'm going to pick that one up. But I also have Dreaming Sun, pardon the bookmark I've already picked for it. Dreaming Sun, which was the poll I put on Twitter. Dreaming Sun is the one that won that one. So this is the first volume. I definitely picked up this manga because I think this is the same author who wrote, same creator of the manga series, well, manga duology Orange, and Becca from Becca in the Books loves this series, and it just seems like fun. So I'm going to pick that one up. Or I hope to pick that one up. So that's just kind of an idea of what I would like to do this week. We'll see what happens. I will definitely finish these two, without a doubt. And then I'd love to put a few books between ACOTAR and then picking up the Deal with the Elf King again. But I would love to pick that one up too, because I just am so interested in that world. And I have a feeling that once I finish this book, I'm just going to want more Fae things. So that one might also be one that comes this week. We'll see. Who even knows what's going to happen? This week I'm mostly in the office, so I probably won't talk to you much until the end of the week. It's also my birthday this upcoming weekend, and I have no idea what's going to happen this weekend. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's the plan. That's my plan for the week. Stay tuned, and we'll see if it happens. Hello, I am here to give you updates because it's Tuesday and I finished 2 books, which we kind of knew was coming. But Monday morning, afternoon, I honestly don't remember, I finished The Evil Queen. This got, I think it got 4.5 stars from me. This was really good. I like how it wrapped up. My favorite thing about this, and I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so like, I don't think it's a spoiler, but some might think it's a spoiler, so like, go here if you don't want to hear this very specific thing. But in the beginning of this book, I think I mentioned in last week's vlog when I started it, this has a ridiculously powerful prologue where it starts off kind of where this book ends up, and like you go into it knowing that. It's kind of like the Evil Queen talking to Snow White, Prince Charming, and a couple other characters, and she's setting up this world and just kind of like saying all these things, and you're like, oh, but what about that? And what about that? And so you're really intrigued as to what is happening. And then the first chapter goes way back at the beginning where these girls' stories start. What I liked about this is that they took the exact same phrasal. Like basically they took the prologue and plopped it in one of the last few chapters, but changed all of the Evil Queen, Snow White, Prince Charming, like those kinds of titles, I guess is the best way to describe it, character names, and replace them with the characters that they are in this book. Because like when you start this book, you don't actually know who the Snow White character is, the Prince Charming character, the huntsman, like all these other characters in the Snow White story. You just assume that this story is being told from the Evil Queen's perspective, but you're not really sure throughout this entire book. Because our main character is basically fighting that whole thing of whether or not she's good versus evil. It's like an internal struggle for her the entire time. But I like that they brought that full circle, and I'm not even kidding you, I went back as I was listening to it to the first chapter, and I kid you not, it is identical. And I actually really liked it. I liked that it came full circle. I appreciated that it was, like, that chapter was identical, except for now we knew who these people were, which I found really interesting. And I like how it ended. So it got 4.5 stars. It technically got 4.5, but, you know, Goodreads, so 4. And I really enjoyed it. So this was a lot of fun. I am intrigued to see what the second one is like at some point, because like I think I've said before, is it follows the Cinderella story, but this book could have a sequel. Now the sequel is not the sequel to the story, and this story kind of like, this chapter of the story wraps up here, and so I feel like there is some loose ends, but it's more of like there could be a sequel, but we don't necessarily need a sequel. I would like there to be a sequel. I'd like to see where this goes, because there's like a very impending like thing that they're gonna have to work through. I mean, I haven't read the second series, but based on the synopsis, it feels like it follows a totally different person, and I'm not sure in the timeline where that book fits. And currently there's only 2. I don't know if she's planning on coming out with more or anything like that, but there are only 2 right now. I liked her writing. I thought it was a lot of fun, so I definitely want to give that one a shot. It's not one that I need to pick up right this second, and I'm not sure it's one that I want to physically own. Like, I'm not sure yet, but this is such a fun floppy paperback, and the other one is not in paperback yet, so we might just wait until that one comes in paperback and then we'll think about it, because I love Cinderella. That's one of my favorite Disney's princesses growing up, I was obsessed with Cinderella. So I'd love to see her kind of take on that one, but I don't need it immediately. So this was really good. I am so glad that I read it. And then, as you probably saw today when I got home, I finished Aqualore. So do you see all these tabs in here? I feel like this is the most tabbed book out of this series. I'm not entirely sure. I am so happy I'm done. Not in like a, that sounded bad. I don't mean like in a, oh my god, it's over. But like, I was so stressed for so long. I did not know how this was going to end. And now I know. So this, to me, is definitely an ending. There are things that they need to discuss. There are impending things that are going to be happening that I'm sure the next few books are going to cover. There is a small novella, which I think is a bridge between this series and kind of like the second half of this series. So you don't really need it from what I've heard, but there's like a couple of things in there that like help bridge it. And then the first one in that extra series that follows Nesta. Not the whole series, just that book. But yeah, this got 5 stars from me, and I am not entirely sure if this or the second one is my favorite. The second one might be winning just a little bit because this has so much war in it, which is not necessarily bad, but it's not my favorite thing to read about. It's very gruesome, so be wary of that. But there's a lot of great things that happen in here, but the second one has so many great things, so I'm very conflicted. But this entire series got 5 stars, and I don't think I could have I don't think I could have read this as it came out. I think I would have needed, I don't know, like just the way that the second one ended, I immediately needed to know what was happening, whereas the first one kind of felt like an ending. So like you could have ended the story there if you wanted to, but like don't do that because there's so much more to come. But like after the second one, it was like I immediately needed to pick up the third one. So I did. And it was fantastic. So I'm so happy. I feel satisfied with the way this ended. Like there were some things that I didn't like about it, and there were some things that were very stressful about the ending. But the way that this ended, it just kind of like, it feels like I feel relaxed now. Like I finished it and I was like, okay, that was satisfying. I'm happy with how that went. So am I in love with the series? Yes. Is it a new favorite? Quite possibly. Yeah, so I finished that one, which I believe was in for a 5-star prediction. So I got the 2 big chunks out of the way. And it's only day 2 of this week. I forgot what I was saying. Which means now I need to pick things up. So I'm going to pick up the audiobook of Intercepted. I have it from my library. I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier in this vlog, but this is a contemporary romance about a girl who dates NFL players. Like she starts off dating this NFL star for 10 years and then he cheats on her, so they break up and she's like, I'm done with NFL people. I'm done. And then she falls for a quarterback. I know this is the first in a series of at least 4, but they're all kind of like companion novels, so you don't really need one to finish the other, that kind of thing, but like the characters intertwine. But I love me some good rom-com goodness, but I expect all the steamy goodness that I love from contemporaries. So that's what I'm going to pick up audibly tomorrow, probably starting tomorrow at work. And I think physically I'm actually going to pick up Rick by Alex Gino. This is a middle grade about a boy named Rick who's basically trying to figure out his sexuality. This is a companion sequel, I would say, to George by the same author that I read the end of last year and absolutely loved. George is about a kid in 4th grade, and this follows Rick in middle school. And like Rick is kind of mentioned a little bit in the first book, so like it's more companion than sequel, but I feel like the first one sets up this world a little bit better. But it's a lovely contemporary, and I loved the first one so much. I feel like George should be required reading. I'm gonna say that every single time these books come up. George should be required reading for elementary school. That's all I'm saying. But this one, I've been dying to get my hands on this one, and I'm finally gonna do it, and I'm so excited. But this will be super easy to get through. I do have an audiobook that I might listen to while I'm reading, but you know, like the font is relatively large. It is made for younger readers, so I can usually get through middle grades rather quickly, and I'm just very excited about it. So this one was in for read a book that reminds you of the Pride flag, because obviously. So these are my plans to get a couple of contemporaries in before we start Malice and get back into how to deal with the Elf King. I am very excited. that is my update. I'm here with book updates. I did actually just get a couple of fun things in the mail that I wanted to unbox for you, but I do actually have book updates for you. That was aggressive. So I wanted to talk to you. I meant to talk to you yesterday, but when I got home from work, I was just really sleepy and tired and didn't want to do anything, so yay. But I'm working from home today. It's Friday. I was working from home on Friday, but since I talked to you last, I have started 3 books and finished 1 of those. The first one I picked up was Rick. I'm literally a chapter into this, so I have 0 opinions on it, but I have started it, so I wanted to tell you that I've started it. I'm on page 16, chapter 2. Excited to see where this is going to go. The audiobook that I have that I'm listening to while I read this is actually narrated by Gino as well, which is kind of cool. I would love to finish this one in the next couple of days this weekend. That would be fantastic if I could finish this one this weekend because it's not very long. We've already met the best friend of Rick, which was the bully in the first book, George, even though they're not really part of the same series. They're kind of in the same universe, but they're not really part of the same series. And he's just very annoying and I don't like him, but I'm interested to see where this story goes. So I've started this, but I haven't really done anything with it. But I have also started and finished Intercepted by Alexa Martin. This was one of the books on my TBR basket, but it fit the prompt of POC rep. This book is much different than I expected it to be. I ended up giving it 4 stars, but this basically follows our main character Marley, who at the beginning of the book is dating this guy named Chris, and I don't remember what his position is, but he's on a football team, and he's like a wide receiver or like something like that. And they've been dating for 10 years, but he's never asked, like, popped the question, and they've had lots of issues in the past, and she finds out that he's been cheating again on her, and she kind of just like snaps and says screw all of this and leaves him. officially this time. And then there's a guy who becomes quarterback in this book, and he and her had past situations, and she swears she's never going to date an NFL person again, and then, you know, they start falling for each other. And it's interesting because I thought it was just going to be fluffy, fun rom-com, and it has its fluffy, fun rom-com moments, but there's so much more to this because her relationship with her ex-boyfriend Chris is so toxic and so emotionally abusive on his part, and like he basically treats her like a stereotypical woman in the 50s would be treated. He never helps with dishes. He always, whenever there's an issue between them or they're having a fight, he always somehow makes her apologize to him, even if it's not her fault or whatever the fight's about. And he always somehow makes the situation about him. Like at the beginning of the book, he's really mad that they hired this new quarterback because he thinks it's going to interfere with his career. And he smashes this plate that she's just made a cake on to make him feel better. And so she goes to pick up the glass pieces, and he gets really mad at her because she goes to pick up the glass pieces instead of worrying about him. And I was like, she built this cake for you. Like, it was just like little things like that where he always like somehow twisted it to he was in the wrong. It was always him. So it was very emotionally abusive. And he's also just this huge dick. And there's a lot of instances in here where if you don't like catty kind of Mean Girls moments, you're not going to enjoy this, because there's this whole clique of the NFL wives, and she's the only one who's part of this clique that was a girlfriend, because she'd been a girlfriend for so long, and it was like a whole thing to get her even in part of this group. And they meet every single weekend. They do like all of these kind of like fundraiser things, and the head of that is the old quarterback's wife, and she hates Marley, and so they're all just like awful to her. And so I was so mad for most of this book, which is why I don't think I gave it a full 5 stars, because there was just so much that I was just like, okay, we get it. These women hate Marley. Can we move on now? And so there's a lot, but I also like that there are moments where Marley's like, okay, I'm in the wrong here, but also you're in the wrong here. And they have adult conversations. Like, there's no miscommunication trope in here, which I appreciated, because I feel like the miscommunication trope is really overplayed in a lot of books. It can be done correctly. Like, I think it works really well in the Talia Hibbert books, the Brown Sisters series, because there's some miscommunication in those books, but they're also adults, and so like they talk about their problems and everything gets, you know, figured out in the end. So there's not any kind of like craziness with that. It was just at moments I was like, okay, this just feels like a bit much. So I enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue with the rest of the series, because there are 3 more in the series, and they're all kind of companions, so I don't feel like you need to read one before the other. But like, I don't really care about any of the characters, except for possibly the 3rd one is about one of Marley's friends, and we like her a lot. So we'll see. That might be one that I read. But I did enjoy it. It had lots of fun, steamy scenes. I tabbed a lot, as you can see. The more tabs I have, the more I enjoyed it. So I'm glad that I read it. I'm not sure I would continue with other things in this series. I don't know if it's the whole, like, football is a sport and I don't care thing. But I don't know. It was good. Not the best thing I've ever read, but it was good. Still got 4 stars for me. So I finished that one, which is exciting. And I picked up Malice by Heather Walter. So I'm in chapter 4 somewhere. So about 35 pages into this book. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's giving me a lot of the same feels that I got when I was reading The Bells by Danielle Clayton. It is set in a world where there's these things called graces, and they have powers. Like, they are part I think they're part fairy is what they really are. But they have magical abilities, because the fairies have this ridiculous amount of magical ability, and like the fairies and like this world, they have like a treaty, so like they don't really like fight anymore. And as like a sign of peace, in the past, the fairies basically bred with humans to create these graces, and they have just like a smidgen of power. And so they can do all of these great things. There's all of these different houses across the city, and based on the person and how much magic they have, they use their blood, which if you are a grace, then it is gold, I think is what their blood is, and that mixes with other things, and you can create tonics and things that help people out. We're following Alice, who is a dark grace. I think she's the only dark grace in the city, which means she's part Vila, which is this totally different creature that people really, really despise. And her blood is green. And she does things like create warts for people and like spells that make people really ugly or spells that cause accidents for people they don't like. And she works at this house, and so no one likes her because she's this dark grace, even though like she had no control over her lineage. They call her Malice because her name's Alice, and nobody likes her. And so yeah, that's really, we've only kind of set up the story. I know that she's going to meet the princess of the Briar family, which is the royal family, and that's going to be like the Sleeping Beauty character who has a curse on her, and I know that they strike a bargain. So Alice is on her way with the other graces to the birthday party of this princess, and they've been invited. All graces have been, I think all graces have been invited, but at least all graces in that house that she is at have been invited, and so she decides to go along. It's a masquerade ball, so she's like, you know, I can hide and not be this wicked thing that people hate, and that's literally all that's happened. Is we've got a little backstory on her. And yeah, I expect great things from this, but again, I feel like it's like the Bells with the whole like using some sort of magic to create different appearances for people, whereas with Bells it's like they can change you, whereas with this it's like they use their blood and tonics and things to do that. And there's all these different houses scattered across this city. So I'm enjoying it so far, not too far into it, like I said, so I don't have a whole lot of opinions about it, but I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I have the audiobook of this, so I'm planning on continuing to read it. Right now, I'm not crazy impressed, but again, I'm literally 30 pages in, like I'm barely into it. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's kind of a look at my reading updates. But I got this very fun, exciting package in the mail. I mean, I knew it was coming. It's just right here. Look at this. But these are the candles that I ordered from Kindness and Candle, which I've actually not talked a whole lot about. I feel like on this channel I talk a ton about them on my Instagram. But it's run by my friend Taylor, who I actually buddy read every month with, so I'll leave a link to the Etsy shop down below. But she started a candle company earlier this year, April, I think, and every single month she comes out with 6 new candles, and I am obsessed with them, so I buy all of them. And then this month she came out with 8 new candles, and I said, oh no, I can't do that, so I only got 6. But she had 6 releases, and then what's her new thing is called duos, and that is 2 candles that go together for some reason. So yeah, I've literally opened the box, and she's got this fun little card on here. I love that so much. I thought I would open them here for you, just because I'm excited. Hey, I was hoping this would happen. So in this, she has decided to give away little wax melts, because she does candles and wax melts. And so it's little like testers for you. And so this is one of the scents I didn't get. And this is Rom-Com Reader. So we'll smell that a little bit later. But I was hoping I would get one of the fun ones. I'm excited. That one actually might be very well done. But they all come like incredibly well packaged. So let's get these out, because I need to know what smells so good. Just go right on into it. So they're packaged in these little brown paper, I guess is the best way to describe it. And I don't know what's what. I don't actually know how the wax melt comes, because I've never gotten the wax melt. I just don't use wax melts that often. I don't really have anything to burn them in. But I'm excited regardless. So the first one is Enemies to Lovers, which is one of the 6 of her June release. This is Sage, Amber, and Oak Moss. Enemies to Lovers is one of my favorite tropes, so I needed to get me that one. This one is the one that I'm the most excited about, because the scent itself seems the most like something that I would enjoy, and that is As Travas. I never knew how to say that. As Travers. It's white tea, peony, and roses. Now this is based on, oh shoot, I can see the cover, Darker Shade of Magic, which I didn't particularly love, but this scent screams to me, so I'm the most excited about that one. Come on. So the duo is based on the two main characters from the Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. I'm very excited. It's Ethan and Olive. So Ethan is citrus, cedar, and coconut milk, and Olive is sea salt, mango, and coconut milk. I love mango. It's one of my favorite fruits. It's my favorite thing to get a smoothie of, so I'm very excited about those. Those seem very summery, so I'm very excited. Let's see. This one is the Wrap Up candle, which I just am obsessed with that cover. And it's fresh cut grass, mint, and eucalyptus. Oh, I expect that to be fantastic. And then the last one here is going to be the one that's based on the Illuminate files. And I think it's got citrus in it somewhere, if I remember correctly. And that is Am I Not Merciful, which is orange peel, peppermint, and saffron. So yeah, those are a look at the 6 candles. Now what she does is she does this incredible like half and half. Oh, look at that. And it's a wood candle, and they're always so pretty. So, ooh. So yeah, these are the candles I burn in all of my vlogs now. If you haven't noticed, I've literally got one burning right now. I love them so much. And it's like, they came like 2 days before my birthday, and it kind of feels like a birthday present to me, and I'm very excited about it. I was correct. My favorite is the Travers one, which is white tea, peony, and roses. I just like the floral scents. It's got a fun little rainbow thing. It just smells so good. But I really liked that one. The Ethan one was really good too. Wrap Up smells like freshly cut grass, and like to me, this just smells like summer. So all of these are so yummy. I don't know what to do. But yeah, so that was, I have so many more candles. I don't know what to do with them. But that is my little update for you guys. I have a little bit more work to do since I'm working from home, but I want to read a little bit. I also want to do my nails, and that is my update. I don't really know what we're doing tonight. I think we're going to watch a movie tonight. This weekend's going to be very chill. I think we're going to go to a small independent bookstore tomorrow, though. That's one that's near me that every time I buy on Bookshop, like a portion goes there, but I've never physically been there. So I think we're going to do that, and I'll probably buy at least one thing just to support the local business. Sunday, I think we're going to go hang out with family as well. So we'll see how much I vlog on Sunday, but yeah, that's what I planned. Very chill weekend, not much planned. I'll come back to you when I have updates. I'd love to finish Rick this weekend, and if I could, I'd love to do Dreaming Sun as well. I think that would be fun to get a manga in, but I'm not too bothered because I've read quite a lot this month already. I am basically like almost done with my TBR. Like, I only have a couple of mangas and like a buddy read left. So I'm not too worried with only 1 week left after this one. Well, it's actually a week and a half left after this one. But yeah, that's my update. I'll come back and talk to you when I have other things to say. this light is really, really bad, but oh well. I'm here. Tis Sunday night. I thought I'd come wrap up this vlog because I've read a book since I've talked to you last, and I got this in the mail, and I have a feeling it's from one of you. But first, let me tell you a little bit about the book that I finished. I finished Rick by Alex Gino. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, I think is what it ended up getting. Out of the two, I like George more, I think, because this relies heavily on the fact that Rick is best friends with a guy who bullies a bunch of people who are part of this Rainbow Spectrum Club is what they're calling it, but it's basically a club for LGBTQ plus people. And his best friend at the beginning of this book is kind of a jerk and is the bully from the first book, George. And we'll get to see the characters from George. And this one, I liked that a lot. It's kind of a brand new start. Our kids are going to middle school. They're discovering things about themselves. And I liked seeing Rick discover his sexuality, or at least the beginning of discovering his sexuality and kind of what he thinks he is, and just kind of figuring that out. It's real short. It only took me a couple of days to finish. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, I personally like George better, but this one still got 4.5 stars, so like really up there. And this was for the prompt of read a book that's cover reminds you of the pride flag. So that's what I read this one for. And then I did actually start reading Dreaming Sun last night by Ichigo Taganu. This is, I don't remember, this was for the prompt of Pole. That's what it was. I've only read kind of the equivalent of the first volume in here, which sets up everything. So we follow our main character who is really not happy at home. Her dad has remarried. They have a new kid, and our main character feels like this step kid is more important to them. So she runs away, and she meets this guy in the park who's in a kimono, and he basically says, I have a really, really cheap room for you, but I have 3 requests. The first one is he's locked out of his house for some reason, and well, the second one is he's locked out of his house for some reason, and she has to go find the key, and in doing so she meets the other 2 people who will be living in this house. The first one is to tell him why she's running away and why she needs this house, and then the third one is kind of a dual part, and it's to have a dream and fall in love. And so we see all of that, and we see her introduced to the people, and she's seen the house, I think, is how this kind of first chapter ends. So I'm really excited to see where this continues. It looks ridiculous, but I've loved it so far. So, like, I expect to finish this in the next couple of days, because I think I'll be reading this at night before bed. But that's really my updates for the week. I have been listening to Malice, but I don't think I've listened to anything since I talked to you last. So I'm still only about 30 pages in. And that's really my book updates for you. But before I end this vlog, I thought I would show you what we got in here. As you guys saw, we did some early birthday book shopping yesterday. I was very excited about it. We were going to go to an independent bookstore, but fun fact, that bookstore does not actually have a location anymore. It's fully like a bus now. So that kind of failed. But we still went to Target and had fun, and I got some fun contemporaries that I can bring into next month. So let's see what this... What? Oh, hold up. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's from Serena from A Wandering Mind. Thank you so much. It's a little birthday present, but it's... Go away. I'm broken and everything is fine. Okay, so this is a thick one. She's so pretty though. Look at those end pages. Thank you. I am so excited. So I was going to put off reading this, but come on. I might have to read this next month or the month after. I still have that like tiny novella that I need to read. Look, this is a chunker of a book, I will say, but thank you so much, Sharita. That's so sweet. I will leave her linked down below. I talk about her like all the time on this channel. We read the Lemony Snicket series of Unfortunate Events last year, but her channel is amazing. So go check her out. But thank you so much, Sharita. That is so sweet. And a great way to end this vlog. This cover though, like, is just so pretty. To say I am shook is an understatement. So that's I think where we're going to end it, but if we're taking a look real quick at the books that I finished, I ended up reading 4 books this week, which is pretty great. So we finished up The Evil Queen by Gino, which got 4 stars. Then we finished Akawar by Sarah J. Maas, which got 5. Shocked. No one is. We did finish Intercepted by Alexa Martin, which got 4 stars. And Rick by Alex Gino, which got 4.5 stars. And then we do have 2 books coming into this week, Dreaming Sun and Malice, which is over there, and I don't feel like picking it up. So next week, if we can finish those. Malice, I think, is the biggest one that I have on deck for the next week. I've got a buddy read to start on Monday. I have a couple of mangas to read. I do have a indie published book that I do need to pick up. So I think the next week's going to be pretty easy. But I had a pretty good week. I've got 4 things finished, which is crazy. I mean, these 2 I was basically done with relatively quickly in the month, or in the week. But that was a pretty good reading week. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. As always, please let me know if you participated in Whateverathon, how your reading is going so far this month. How are you on your goals? I don't know how many books I've read, but I think I've passed the 8-book limit. Or like the goal I set for myself. But let me know how you're doing, or if you're not participating, tell me how your reading is. Do you have any goals for the month? Have you surpassed them? Are you reading? Let me know all those things. But if you liked this video, and I very much hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I also got on my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish things, so don't forget to go check all those out. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!